That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Welcome back to That's a Gay-Ass Podcast, the podcast that asks, whose fault is it that you're gay? It is me, Eric Williams, and this week we have Catherine McCafferty on the podcast, who hosts Pretty Gay, a delightful talk show where she dates a new person every single episode. Before her interview, though, I want to tell you that I'm doing a solo show next week in Los Angeles. If you want to hang out in person, come with. It is 7:30 p.m. at Lyric Hyperion. It's like the perfect time because you'll come see the show. We'll then all go out after. We'll flirt. We'll kiki. So yeah, there's like 30 tickets left. So come hang next Friday, April 11th at Lyric Hyperion, and check out the link in the description or on my Instagram. If you would like more gay-ass podcasts, the bonus episode is up over on the Patreon. That's at patreon.com/gayasspodcast with the very hairy, very funny king, Guy Woof. He gives us a lot of horny stories, including the time he was milked like a cow at a farm in England. Go off. There's that horny story and a lot more at patreon.com/gayasspodcast. And speaking of horny, this episode with Catherine is a little bit sexual. I actually asked her if she has any questions about boy-boy hookups because she discusses lesbian sex so much on her show. And boy, does she ever. We discuss frotting, docking, and we also get into coming out at chain restaurants. We discuss a iconic character actress. And at the end of the episode, we discuss whether or not we've ever hooked up with any guest from our shows. Ooh, juicy. Here is Catherine. Catherine, you need to buckle the brunch up and answer the questions for a goddamn change. You host Pretty Gay. How does it feel to actually have to answer for once in your life?
I feel like I'm constantly looking to answer questions. I feel like one of my tropes is sort of passing off my cue cards to my guests, being like,
Sure.
Somebody take the show away from me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I do know. And I'm here to take the show and give it to you hard, girl. So the question number one that I'm going to ask you then is, if you host a show called Pretty Gay, are you fully les, pretty les? What do you identify in the gay sphere?
Great question. So I feel like I am constantly sort of asking myself that. I think because I came out in the context of being in a relationship, like well, that's not entirely true. I came out to my brother in a very tearful way. My tears, not his. He was like, please stop crying in this restaurant. And then a week later, I met a person. We got into our relationship. I got engaged to that person.
And this person, are you able to tell?
A non-binary lesbian. And so yeah.
So you really came out and then went straight to home run of gay home run, which is engagement. It's not even penetration, it's engagement. What is it about us gay people crying in restaurants? I came out to a friend weeping at a Steak and Shake.
Oh my God, I love that. I feel like because here's the thing, like the drama of it, like other people need to witness this because we've been like maybe not witnessing ourselves for so long.
That's so true. That's so true.
So it's like, I need confirmation from lots of strangers.
Wait, that's not even a lie, because I'm now realizing if I roll the tape back, I came out to my best friend at a Steak and Shake. I came out to my mother at a Panda Express in an airport food court.
Oh my God.
Not even a brick and mortar standalone store. This was giving Terminal B, bitch.
I'm dead. That's amazing. Okay, great. And then you guys got on a flight together, or?
We did. We were on a connecting flight from St. Louis. We had just been, it was connecting. I know. We were visiting New York my senior year of high school because I was deciding what school to go to. And on the way back from New York to St. Louis, we had a connecting flight in Chicago. And my mom, out of nowhere, over orange chicken, was like, Eric, you used to get made fun of for being gay and it really upset you. How are you, doing ... And I immediately start weeping. And I was like, I think I am gay, obviously fully knowing I was. But I just like, I don't know. I think it was a Jewish mother obviously being like, are you gay, period. But she said it in a way that was like a little more like trying to open the door, and I fucking ran through it. And
absolutely.
That was, I never celebrate my coming out anniversary, but I feel like we should, because it's coming on. That was 2008. And now it's 2025. Okay. Can you do that math? That's 17.
No, I'm bad at math. I'm gay.
17 years. I'm about to hit a 17-year anniversary.
Wow. That's pretty big. What are you going to do for your 17 years of being alive?
Well, let's talk about how my gayness is 17 years old. What does a 17-year-old like to do the most? What does a 17-year-old like have the most fun? Do I do hibachi?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think that's like pretty interesting. Or like, it depends on what 17-year-old you're talking to, because like at 17, I was dropping out of high school, but into college.
Oh, were you one of those like smart girlies that graduated early?
Nope. I have my GED because I didn't do like 4 years of English or something. I didn't like meet the state requirements to graduate. So
do you speak English?
And I do. And I feel like I might be right now, but TBD. Okay. I feel like people will need to.
I think you are.
People will need to let me know.
Wait, this is funny though that you say that you have such an interesting history when it comes to like the GED of it all, the coming out to an immediate engagement. You actually say that after your engagement ended, you slept with a man because you did not want to fall in love again and you just wanted to have some fun. Was it worth it? And what do you like about dick, if anything?
Okay, well, I'm not sure if I do like anything about it. That's sort of part of what I'm discovering about myself now is kind of like decentering men in general, which I think everybody needs to do, whatever your sexuality is, just because of the patriarchy. But and then like sort of working on myself in that way, and then asking myself like why I felt compelled to maybe like pick men back up again. There was something powerful in it being like, well, I don't care. So I'm just going to do this. And it was powerful, but it was also like sad because it wasn't like pleasurable for me. Yeah. But I did meet one guy. He is a bisexual man, and I had a lot of fun with. I don't know that we were like into each other. Does that make sense?
It does.
We were like connecting in the way that I felt like he made it feel safe for me to like want to be pleasured. And I don't know that I ever let myself do that before. And it had nothing to do with my ex-fiance. It had everything to do with like me, my past, my trauma, and not really taking responsibility of that as an adult.
That's very well said. I think that oftentimes in sex and in dating, there is a certain amount of space that we have to allow ourselves to take up to make it good for both of us. Like, sure, bad sex can sometimes be our fault if we're not saying what we want or trying to just like people please for the sake of trying to get through it. It's so interesting to me that you have such a great stance on sex and on dating. And I really mean this. Your show, Pretty Gay, is really fucking good. For anybody listening who doesn't actually follow or hasn't seen it yet, you will after this episode, because basically you're going on dates with all these hilarious people. And I'm not going to lie to you. I have a new sort of sex and dating talk show coming out that is very different from yours, but I really love how you interview. And so I'm trying to sort of take some of that amazing energy that you have and put it into a type of show. We're all sharing.
It's all a pot, you know?
Yeah. And especially for like us queer people. I mean, mine's coming out April 7th. So that's going to be Monday of this week. And I just love how open you are about sex. So if you don't mind, we're going to get into some sex stuff, some dating stuff. But I feel like the first question I need to officially ask you for this gay ass podcast, Catherine, is whose fault is it that you're queer? Who do we blame, babe?
I found the show Alias in like 8th grade, high school. And that was like after it had all come out. Or I actually don't know I don't know when it aired, but I think I wasn't watching it on the television. We had DVDs, aging myself, but we had DVDs of it. Yeah, I know. So I was just like watching the DVDs, just being like, okay, so I just want to be a spy. You guys are being weird and I want to be a spy. And Jennifer Garner, I'm not looking at her boobs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you know what's so funny about that is all of us queer gay kids were watching things, obsessing over it sexually, but trying to pretend that I only wanted to go to Stage Door Manor, the musical theater camp. I wasn't watching the film camp because I identified with Robin and Jesus getting gay bashed for wearing drag to prom. I just loved the musical theater art form.
Exactly. Yes. And I wanted to do espionage.
If you were in a room with Jennifer Garner, two consenting adults now, what would you like to do to her first?
I guess I would like to ask if we were on a date. I love to establish that right up top with anybody that I'm alone in a room with. I go, is this a date? And then if she said yes, I would be like, okay, amazing. Can we kiss on the mouth? And
I bet she's a great kisser.
I think she's probably such a good kisser. And I think that I would want to just like start with just sort of like smooching a little and then talking and being like super cute, because in my head, she exists like when I'm younger. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it a little innocent for the physical action, but there's still this like amazing kinship between you, and you are also on a date, but the kisses are soft. The kisses are sweet.
Yes,
They're
soft, sweet.
delicious.
And then I don't know what happens because like, you know, in this scenario, if she's fully gay, then we get married. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Do you have any, when we talk about your talk show, obviously you are a talented comedian, writer, creator. What is like your dream scenario for either the future of Pretty Gay or for just like what you would like to manifest, whether it's creatively or professionally?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. I just actually quit like my day job to build my empire. Yay.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. So Pretty Gay is going to be an empire. And ideally I would be able to, you know, continue to shoot it, maybe sell it to, like an appropriate platform. Yeah. I love Patreon. I love like being in control of absolutely everything. But I also would love to not make a lot of decisions. I would like to like walk in and just be talent.
Oh my God. Don't I know it?
And then I want to just like, be an actor because that's what the goal was originally. And I am just a nerd and I do love acting. Like I truly love it.
That's really, I think that people listening and who watch your show know how much goes into it, but it's very also refreshing to hear you say that you have quit your day job and you're now fully investing in your work, because some people who listen don't know this, but I also am in the day job sphere of my life, and I'm hoping to be able to quit mine soon. But I've, you know, been trying to grow this podcast and the new Confession Hole is the name of the new talk show, and growing the Patreon and all of that. And I'm actually, there's going to be a big announcement with all the Patreon actually this week. So in ways for me to hopefully be able to quit my day job. And so it's like,
yes.
You know, I think that people like you and like me, we are obviously trying to be creative, but also like have this message underneath all of our shows about like, you know, taking away shame and normalizing gay love and queer existence and boop, boop, boop. But as us creative girlies, the logistics are not easy. And that's why I'm so grateful to have like our gorgeous producer, Nathanael. Yes. You have the Dropout CEO and legend, Sam.
People. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Sam and Elaine, without them, I would not have been able to do Pretty Gay, like, at all.
By the way,
and
Dropout is incredible. I just want to shout out Sam and Elaine. And Elaine's Very Mary Kate was a show that I would also say made me gay, in addition to Sister Act 2, in addition to the seniors at my high school when I was in 8th grade. Very Mary Kate, I mean, bodyguard. There's like anybody listening, for any, like Elaine Carroll is that girl. And so, yeah, you have an amazing team around you. But I do need to get into one of the sexual questions that you talk about on Pretty Gay.
Yes.
You affirm on Pretty Gay that lesbians do in fact scissor.
Yes.
Tell me, what is a question that you might have about gay boy-boy sex? Does anything come to mind for you to ask me here on Gay Ass Podcast?
Yes. Wait. Okay. But I also want to clarify, because people are out here like fighting in the comments going like lesbians don't scissor, because they're saying like this is going to be a hand thing. This is why I'm doing this.
For the YouTube girlies.
So people are like, they're talking about tribbing. And I'm like, absolutely. Tribbing is also a thing where you're just like rubbing. Oh, you're like, oh, oops. You're like rubbing on like body parts versus, so it's not necessarily like
crotch to
vagina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crotch to crotch. You're like on legs usually. Usually like it's like lesbians have great knees. Like you throw a knee up there.
So we go vagine to kneen.
Yeah. But scissoring, I'm not saying that lesbians do this. That's nuts. And maybe like just for fun, for like giggles, because sex should be funny. You might be doing this. You're doing this. Like if these are our crotches, you're doing that.
Face to face.
Yeah. Somebody's on top and you're maneuvering your crotch to still touch the other crotch. Like, opening to opening, but you're still face to face.
Yeah. And still, and gay guy dick to dick, that's called frotting, which is there's dicks smashed against each other, and then you are using the friction of that to enjoy.
What? So that was going to be my question, was like, is there friction, like pleasure in gay male sex? Because friction is such a thing in lesbian sex.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. And you know, there is. The frotting of it all is, some might say, can be even more enjoyable or even more intimate than penetration, if you can believe it. You see, when you have the frot, there is this sense of we're eyes to eyes.
Yes.
And
so that's why I understand why penetration might not be like, I never thought that penetration when I was having sex with men, I was like, this isn't intimate at all. Like I could be doing taxes, which is also maybe why I'm gay, but keep going.
I could be doing taxes while getting railed. Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, there are many different positions for penetration that can feel very intimate, of course, but there is also, you know, we call this, of course, side dumb. You are a side if you're enjoying sex without penetration. And so a lot of, there's, I would say, some controversy in the gay guy world of like, some guys only want to get off via penetration, and other guys are like, no, I love the side stuff and it's just as good. I'm, of course, equal opportunity, love both. I think side stuff is great, but the frotting of it all is sometimes just like what the doctor ordered, because sometimes you have one person's hand that's wrapped around both. There's
Wait, what do you mean? Because just talk to me like I'm a tiny baby who doesn't understand sex at all.
But I'm allowed to talk about sex to a baby.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a baby, but I'm also a grown woman.
No, you're boss baby. You're the body of a baby.
With Alec Baldwin?
You're Alec Baldwin. Okay, Alec, listen. Remember when your hairy chest on SNL made me rock hard?
Yes.
Picture two people rock hard, Alec. Usually, I love this. I haven't really thought about the mechanics in so long. So usually one guy is laying on their back, and then the other guy is sort of like you're saying, like either kneeling on top or just like the knees on the bed. Well, now I'm questioning. I think there's like, however you make it work, you maneuver that the dicks are going to be the dicks are face to face, as you are also able to be face to face with the guy. And so
but you're both hard.
Here's the body laying down, and there's the dick up. Here's the body, and there's also a dick up. So you got two dicks like this, and then one of them will grab their hands around both, and then like essentially like jerk both of them off. By the way, if any people are listening and did not want a full sex thing, and they only like, usually we do the sex mechanics on the Patreon, but I'm so glad that Catherine, we're doing it on the main feed. I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity. Does that make sense to you, the frotting?
Yes, now it does make sense, and I was picturing it so incorrectly because I was like picturing two like hard penises kind of just kissing like this.
Yeah, urethra to urethra. And you know what? That's actually called docking. And that is when, if you are both uncircumcised, then you go urethra to urethra, and then the foreskin somehow. I'm a Jew, so I am very much.
Wait, is this real? This is
that is very real, Catherine. Very real.
Whoa! And then
they can literally like. The foreskin sort of can like envelop each other, or maybe only one person needs the foreskin, but the foreskin does sort of like a Luke, I am your father.
The foreskin, it does incest.
Well, I was more just like, it's sort of like it's more like Tabitha, I'm taking over. Tabitha, Salon take over. That's what the foreskin is saying to the other dick.
Got it. Understood. Whoa. This is crazy. I'm learning so much about penises.
And I'm so glad to be able to impart the penis wisdom. You do so much for, I feel like, the les community. And I just want to make sure that I'm doing my due dill. And I'm so glad. Wow, Catherine. The other thing that you do on Pretty Gay that is so fucking fun is you go on these dates with people and you ask questions about dating specifically. So let's get into some dating questions for you. What is your political stance on a breakup in terms of Instagram posts? Do you delete all of their photos from your Instagram, or do you keep them up?
Okay, I'm dead because I was like just talking about this.
Really?
Yes. So I personally don't post a lot on main if I'm seeing somebody. Like, the last time I really did that was when I was engaged, and I still have some of that up. Like, if you scroll all the way down, there's like still some videos that we made together because we used to make like cute little dancing videos, and I just didn't delete all of them. And I did though go and like archive a lot of like lovey-dovey or things that just didn't feel authentic to me or what I'm doing on Instagram, which is different than what somebody might be doing if they just have a personal account. I do not think that you need to erase your past every time you go through a breakup. I think that it's case by case basis, and I don't think that we should be running around taking like Instagram so personally. I think people take it way too personally, and everybody's on their own healing journey. So it's like,
totally.
Like, babe, if you need to erase me from your feed, I get it. It means that I had a big impact on you, and it doesn't take away from what we shared. Like, it's a picture. Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally get it. I think we're in this weird era of there are no rules when it comes to social media plus dating and personal lives. Because think about it, when our parents were growing up and dating, they didn't even have the internet, so it was very much just like you date, you have your emotional roller coaster, and if you break up, it's lore amongst friends. Now there's a literal encyclopedia of your relationship on the internet. And I just had friends that broke up after a long relationship, and I was trying to show someone, like, oh yeah, and they used to date this person, and I went to his Instagram and it was completely scrubbed. And my first inclination, I'm not proud of this, my first inclination was like a little bit of judgery, a little bit of like, oh, come on, grow up. And then I had the same thought you had, which like it is everyone's journey is so different. And
It's so different.
my ex also blocked me on all of socials and I can't see them, period. So it's like, it's so weird to live in a time where we have to make decisions like that. I mean, remember when Facebook first came out and the relationship status? I remember into men or women like that. Like we've been in the trenches.
Wait, was that on Facebook, into men or women?
Oh, 100%. You had on your profile pretty prominently displayed relationship status, single. You're either single, in a relationship,
status.
or it's complicated.
Or it's complicated. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And honestly, and here's the thing with me personally, I love to start rumors. So I'm a girl who's always like, yeah, well, it's complicated. You know, even if I'm in like a committed relationship, I'm like, nobody knows.
Actually, we're still sort of waiting to find out what's going to happen with us.
Truly. So that's a nightmare for the people that I date.
But then you were not around for the era, or you were not clued into the into men or women, which you think you were very lucky because it was something that I don't think I ultimately ever actually took a stance on, unless knowing me and how closeted I was in Missouri, I probably just said into women and just like sort of clicked out of the browser and went back to jerking off to my PE coach in my brain. But that was just me.
Well, and my friend in high school made my Facebook because I was like not allowed to have like those like the internet diary sites or anything like that. I wasn't like, and I was a girl who followed rules, you know, like if my mom had a rule, I was following it to an extent.
Was that like the Irish Catholic of it all? Is that you just very much grew up like, if you don't follow the rules, you'll go to hell?
So my mom wasn't actually religious. My dad was, but I don't know what it was. I think I was just looking for something to guide me. Like there was like a lot going on at home, and
you
so
clung
I
to the
think,
rules.
like,
you felt really secure in the
to
structure
me,
of
that
the rules. I get
it
that.
felt safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, I need to know that I'm good. And so like I personally, and I'm still like sort of working on this, where it's like, oh, what about me as a human being just like decided that I might be evil, you know? And even still, I'm like, wait, like when I first came out, I was like, maybe I'm just doing this for attention. Literally, nobody was giving me any attention.
But you were also like not trusting, you were not allowing yourself to trust your own intuition. And that's what I absolutely have dealt with that. But I'm not joking, Catherine. You gave me sort of an epiphany, which is that I too was a rule follower, and like if I don't get an A in school, my world would crumble. And I still deal with that now with perfectionism. And I think it partly is because of, was there some chaos in my home? Of course. I feel like a lot of us had that. But it was also the idea of clinging to the rules to get away from the chaos and to prove that I was good to someone despite the fact that I knew I was gay deep down. If I got the A's in school, if I followed the rules, if I said I was into women, even though that wasn't the truth, at least I would get a grade A for being a good human, even though deep down I was desperately afraid that the truth would come out and I would be considered a bad person.
Bad. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's so messed up. But now we get to be gay and good.
And we always were, which is the gag of it all.
Like, why are we all good or bad? It's like we're all sort of in between, you know?
Oh, true. Yeah. What would you say is your most annoying quality?
Oh God, there's so many. I would say that I ask for permission too much. Like I notice that if I'm like sort of sliding back into like old habits, I have to be like, what's this about? Like, what's going on actually in my life? Because I'll be like out with somebody and I'll just be like, oh, is it okay if I get another drink? Or just like stuff, like little things like that. Or like, oh, is it okay if I look at my phone? And it's like, what's going on? And I have been in controlling relationships, and I think that's like also where it stems from. But looking for like somebody to like just give me permission, I think is ultimately annoying when you are a full grown adult.
And it's underneath it is probably the need for validation, which I also have. And it's probably like a comedian thing, but also just probably like a human thing of like,
Am I doing life right? Could you click on the screen?
yes or no, that I'm not a complete fuck up. No, that makes so much sense. Another dating question for you. Have you found that lesbians, queer women across the board, are we tending to not hook up after the first date? Are we enjoying like a full hookup?
That's tough. That's like case by case because I've done both with lesbians. So yeah. So sometimes it's like, and sometimes I just like, it's like, oops, like I just went out and now I had sex.
Is there judgment from like being too slutty when that happens?
I think maybe like there's some internal judgment, but I don't know that it's coming from the community. I think that very much like lesbians are just people who recognize we're all adults who maybe want to bang. I've noticed that I'm trying to take things slower now because I sort of already had my slutty phase. I sort of did that.
Good for you. I think that what I find interesting about, obviously queer people have a kindredness, just the fact that we are either misunderstood or, very much a part of a minority in a mistreated community, etc. Mm-hmm. But I find that what's interesting between gay men and queer women is that society as a whole has always sexualized sort of how men are always going after, the coming of it all. And then women are more of like sexual objects, or they are like where men get off. They get off via women. And we rarely hear about women having their own autonomy as sexual people.
Yeah.
And so that's partly why I hope my questions never come off as ignorant to be like, do lesbians blank? Because I think that it's just so interesting when you talk to queer women about their own sexual drive in a way that
hookup culture is different. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and that's what's interesting to me is that like, it's okay. So if you take, queer women who are fully listening to their own sexual power, but also coming from a world that has told them they don't deserve pleasure, there must be really interesting undercurrents of, how people relate, especially because we are all living in a world based on how we're perceived and how people treat us while still trying to embrace like what we actually fucking want.
And not wanting to make like I think this is a big thing, like especially in sapphic relationships where like you don't ever want to make the other person feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's interesting also like to balance that because like at first it does feel awkward, but it can very much still be like extremely sexy. Like I've been in situations where somebody's like, can I take your pants off? And then I'm like, oh yeah. And then it's like, and then almost you like click out of the performance of sex and then you click back in and then it's like, and then they're like, yeah. And I'm like, like, and it's like
between every like really fucking hot move, your voice goes up 3 octaves.
Do you mind if I yeah. And then you're like, awesome.
Hey, do you mind if I spit in your mouth? Can I?
Okay, great. Here it goes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that makes so much sense. I love that we're sort of making our own rules. We're having great fun in the bedroom. But there's also something you do that I love on your show that I'm going to do the Gay Ass podcast version of. I'm Pretty Gay. You play Finger, U-Haul, or Ghost, which is sort of like Fuck, Marry, or Kill. So for Gay Ass Pod, we're going to do a quick round of top, bottom, or paint. Are you going to be the penetrator? Are you going to be the bottom getting fucked by, or are you going to paint, which means shit on that person or thing? Paint.
Oh, whoa. I didn't know that. So
when you say I painted, you got shit on that person by accident because you had an oopsie because you didn't clean out in the way that would have been
okay.
useful.
Absolutely. I have, yeah. In my head, I was like, oh, are we squatting over people and kind of like pooping on them? Like I was like fully into being like,
no,
okay,
no,
so
no,
we're into
this is
we're
like
into poop play. No, this is like an
usually
accident.
Painting is accidental, but I feel like for this game, it'll be you're doing it out of spite. Let's
Love.
do that.
Love that.
Okay.
And I'm sort of always ready to do that because I do
To shit
have
for spite?
colitis. No. I'm ready to paint.
Is that the name of the episode? Ready to paint?
Ready to paint.
I am ready to be paint. That was a musical theater reference. Okay, let's get into top, bottom, or paint. You're going to tell me if you want to fuck, be fucked, or shit on one of these three things. Your first three are HGTV, Bravo, and the Food Network.
Oh. Wow. This is tough. Okay. Oh gosh.
What are you topping? What are you bottoming? And what are you painting?
I know. Okay, so I feel like I'm painting HGTV because I'm upset. I don't understand how to put things together or spaces or anything like that. And I can be resentful and spiteful in that field. Because I'm like a full-grown adult who's like, I don't know how to hang a picture. Do you know, like,
Same.
I'm not.
If I didn't have a
Sure.
husband with actual fashion style sense, I would be living in the ugliest apartment you've ever seen.
And I'm still trying to like put things together and I'm like, oh, like this is the first apartment where I have like things on my walls.
Good
which
for
is
you.
Insane.
Hey, let's celebrate that.
I'm having trouble because I don't know what I want to top or bottom because I do genuinely love Bravo and the Housewives. And you know what? I know. Okay, so I'm going to top Bravo. And then I'm going to bottom for the Food Network because I love to be cooked for. I don't understand cooking at all, so it'd be absolutely wild for me to top the Food Network.
It would be wild for me to top.
It would be
the Food
wild.
Network.
They're already topping me.
No, that's true. And that's true. I love that you're a Bravo girly. Before I move on to the next one, what's your favorite Real Housewives franchise?
Okay, this is tough because original New York is the answer.
Correct.
But right now I'm still invested in the Beverly Hills and the gayness of that sort of franchise.
Same. I always will be, especially the Kyle Richards, Morgan, like the fact that they're like not actually saying what's going on, but like there's so much plot happening without actual words being said about it.
I love it.
It's very gay. Great answer. Let's move on to another top, bottom, or paint. Jojo Siwa, Lisa from the White Lotus, or Raven Simone.
I have met Jojo Siwa. She's actually friends with my best friend.
Stop it.
Yeah. So it's tough for her to sort of be in the mix.
Can I swap out JoJo for another power les?
Please.
We're gonna swap out, since you actually know JoJo. We're gonna go JoJo the pop star, leave, get out. Lisa from White Lotus, Raven Simone.
Oh man, I don't want to paint any of them. Okay. I would like to be fucked by Raven. Obviously.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bottom for Raven. Sorry. I feel like saying I would like to be fucked by is like so aggressive. So I would bottom. Clutch my pearls. Bottoming for Raven. That would be so fun. Topping Lisa. And painting JoJo, simply because I'm like, have you made new music? What's going on? Do you know what I mean?
I think we absolutely have so much love for JoJo, leave, get out, that we want more. It's sort of like when Normani came out with Motivation and then promised us an album and we never got it. But although JoJo, I think, is putting out new stuff, she's not left us as behind as Normani did. So shout out to JoJo. Also, I'm a gay guy talking about things I don't fully know about that. So like, I'm sure people in the chat are gonna be like, fucking asshole.
Screaming. They're so mad at me.
Okay, your final one: sex party, ice cream party, crafting party. Top, bottom, paint.
Well, and something about me is that I've never been invited to a sex party, and I am trying to get an invite. I
would
think
do
that would
so
be
well
so
at a sex
fun.
party.
And if you maybe hung out with me, you would have a different opinion because I'm not sure if I might have like a full breakdown at a sex party. Do you know what I mean?
Are you anxious coded?
I am either really great socially or extremely terrible. And I never know until I get there. And then I'm either hiding in the bathroom having a panic attack. Or I'm like talking to this person, talking to that person. Oh my God, la la la. Like I literally don't know until I arrive.
That's relatable. That's very relatable. I feel like that's partly why. I mean, don't you think the pandemic sort of fucked us all over in terms of socializing? Like it sort of like all set us back to square one, and now we're like trying to get through kindergarten as socializing people.
Yes, and we're doing poorly. Okay, but I would paint ice cream party because I am lactose intolerant.
Right.
Just sort of naturally, I'm painting that. I would like to think that I'm topping a sex party.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm walking into a sex party topping. There's absolutely no way. But we're gonna try to step into our power. And on this podcast, I'm topping.
Hell yeah.
And then was the last one crafting?
Crafting party.
Then I'm bottoming crafting. That sounds fun.
I think that feels really right. And I think that it's so vulnerable for you to come on this podcast and say that you are going to be not only metaphorically painting the ice cream party, but also literally painting due to your lactose intolerance. Well, that is very well done. Do you miss ice cream?
No, I really, and the reason why is because I truly OD'd on ice cream in high school. I would like not pack a lunch for myself and just be hungry all day and then come home. I imagine we would eat dinner, but, and then I would have like 3 bowls of ice cream, and I'm not exaggerating.
What brand?
So I would do Edie's because that's what was in the fridge.
Now, unfortunately, we do have to get towards the end of this interview, but it is one of my favorite questions to ask. And I'm going to ask you, Catherine, if the world was ending, you could only save one character actress, who would you save?
I have thought about this. Because I was like, do I want to argue that Catherine Hahn is a character actress? Do you know what I mean? Because I want to save her because I want to be in a relationship with her.
I can, by the way, I can see it. I can see you and Catherine having this incredible bond, and also
2 Catherines? Are you kidding me?
2 Catherines, 1 cup. Do you have the desire to be in a power couple?
Yes, I'm literally like trying to be, but I'm also trying to be like in my dating era. And that's hard because I do fall in love with absolutely every single one of my guests. And then I'm like, okay, so are we going to date in real life or what? Do you know what I mean?
Wait, before we get into the Catherine Hahn, have you actually hooked up with one of your guests? You don't tell me who, but have you gone on a date or hooked up with?
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh my God, Catherine, you are living the dream. You have not only a great gay talk show, but then you're getting ass from said talk show.
Okay, so I have gone on a date with my guests if they ask, because I do feel like it's an interesting power dynamic where I'm like, well, I can't ask you.
Right. No, that's a good point. Listen, then if we're being honest here, for the Patreon, when we do a horny interview series about people's sex lives, I have absolutely flirted with very hard one of those guests and maybe smooched. So I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that. After we finish recording, he sent me a flirty text, and then we went from there, and the rest was herstory. So look at us. Look at us. Before we actually say goodbye, though, we need to touch in on your choice of Catherine Hahn. Catherine Hahn has saved so many gay people's lives. And you know what? She, of course, we talk about her Marvel moment recently. We talk about Transparent, which she killed
nobody's talking about how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Oh
and
my
she
God.
is exquisite in that movie. She's like the girl who can't get it together or whatever.
Yes.
I'm like, Catherine Hahn, you are pulling out all the stops for this acting feat because like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to believe that Catherine Hahn can't bag a man?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? But
that's what
she
makes
does
a good
such
character
a good job.
actress. Yes.
I know.
And you know what? It's the same thing when we talk about like the character actress of Judy Greer. Judy Greer always plays the friend who is like, you know, either a little helpless or ditzy or whatever. And you know that she's like the most like genius, hilarious, like such a catch. But that's partly what we love about character actresses, is they so embody the people that are misunderstood or can't figure shit out. And you know what? Catherine Hahn also does something that's amazing in a movie where she has like maybe 2 lines. It's the film Anchorman. She has like a tiny bit part. And I remember she does a line reading that is so fucking funny. And as like I'm sitting with all my straight brothers and I'm like, who the fuck is that woman? As like however old I was when I saw that movie in theaters. Like Catherine Hahn makes her moment no matter what she is in. And thank God she's been having such a big moment now because she absolutely deserves this and more. We hope we continue to watch Catherine Hahn take over the world. And you saved her, Catherine. You saved her. It is such an incredible choice. It is such an incredible interview that you have had with us here on That's a Gay Ass Podcast. Catherine, I'm so excited that you quit your day job. I'm so excited for the Pretty Gay empire to continue to grow. And I'm so grateful you came here to make this podcast even gayer. Will you tell the listeners where to follow you and where they can check out Pretty Gay?
Yes, of course. And also, I just want to circle back really quickly to something that we did not talk about, so we're not circling back at all.
Sure.
You are friends with somebody that I know, and he was like, do you want to go to this person's solo show? You have a solo show, right?
I do. Oh my God.
On April 11th.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to come. I can't wait. Because I took a solo show to Edinburgh. I love going to solo shows. And then I know Ryan, who knows you.
Ryan Connors.
Yes.
Oh my, well, now you are both beautiful ginger people. Oh my God. Well, yes, that's a great, thank you for bringing that up. April 11th. If anybody doesn't have tickets, please come. And Catherine, that makes me so happy. Just a little plug for that.
Thank
you.
And then you can find Pretty Gay on Patreon. And I'm going to Chicago to do a live show that is going to be May 23rd at the Lincoln Lodge. So look out for tickets for that. And then follow me online at Catherine _McCaff.
That's right, Catherine _McCaff. It is also in the description, and people will find those links there. Go see the show live in Chicago in May. Go watch Pretty Gay. Follow Catherine. And truly, Catherine, you're a star, and I will see you scissoring, frauding, or what was the nub thing you said with the knees?
Tribbing.
Or tribbing.
Yep.
Shout out. Bye.
And that'll be very interesting because you will have been invited into my bedroom.
Thanks for listening to That's a Gay Ass Podcast. If you enjoyed this interview with Catherine McCafferty, feel free to click like on YouTube or drop a comment to let me know that you exist. And also click subscribe on the podcast platforms if you are not already subscribed. And yes, I'll be doing my solo show next week on April 11th. Come hang out in Los Angeles. It's at 7:30 p.m. at Lyric Hyperion. And like I said up top, Guy Woof, the bonus episode is not to be missed. It's at patreon.com/gayasspodcast. I adore you. I hope you're doing great. And for the love of God, stay gay. Bye. You've been listening to That's a Gay Ass Podcast, hosted by me, Eric Williams. If you want to see and hear more, make sure you subscribe to us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or Patreon at Gay Ass Podcast. That's a Gay Ass Podcast is executive produced by Eric Williams and produced by Nathanael McClure. We'll see you next week.